Okay, so picture this. You're in the baby aisle. Obviously, there's a million products, and you see some that say blue light free, and it kind of makes you stop and think for a second, right?
This-
Like, is this like a real concern, or is this just really good marketing?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to dive into today. We're
Mhm.
looking at blue LEDs and babies, and to help us do that, we're going to be looking at swingtosleep.com.
Okay.
And they actually have a whole page on their website about this. They're known for their baby rockers and swings and things like that,
Right.
but they've taken a really strong stance against having blue LEDs in their products.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
what's the big deal with blue light when it comes to babies?
Well, I think what's fascinating here is how Swing to Sleep is positioning themselves within this like landscape of parental anxieties. Um, they're tapping into a growing concern that parents have about blue light, particularly its effects on sleep and potentially eye development in young children.
And they really hone in on melatonin,
Yeah,
saying that it can really mess with melatonin production. And melatonin, of course, we all know is super important for sleep, especially for babies who haven't quite figured out this whole like day-night thing yet.
precisely. Melatonin is essentially like this internal signal. It tells our bodies that it's time to wind down and prepare for sleep. And for infants whose sleep patterns are still developing, this hormone is absolutely crucial.
It is.
And what Swing to Sleep is highlighting is that blue light, particularly the kind that's emitted by LEDs and screens, can actually interfere with its production.
And this is where I'm curious. We all hear about blue light and sleep, but like how does that actually work?
It's like it throws a wrench in the gears.
Yeah.
So our eyes have these special receptors that are particularly sensitive to blue wavelengths of light. And when these receptors detect blue light, they send a signal to the brain that says, hey, it's daytime, stay awake. And this in turn inhibits the release of melatonin, making it harder to fall asleep.
So it's like tricking your brain into thinking that it's still light outside, even though it's time for bed.
Exactly. You've probably experienced this yourself.
Yeah.
Scrolling through your phone late at night makes it harder to doze off, right?
It really does, for sure.
We'll dive a bit deeper into this connection between blue light melatonin and infant sleep right after a quick break.
Welcome back to the show where we're talking about blue light and babies. So we were talking about how blue light can mess with melatonin production, making it hard to get good sleep. But it's not just sleep they talk about, right?
No, they don't stop there.
What's the other thing?
They're also concerned about the impacts on eye development,
Right.
particularly the potential link to myopia
Okay.
or nearsightedness.
So how worried should parents actually be about this?
Well, that's where things get a little bit tricky.
Okay.
It's not quite a simple answer. While there is some research out there suggesting a possible connection between blue light exposure and myopia in children, the scientific understanding is still evolving. It's not as simple as saying blue light equals bad eyesight. We need more research to confirm a direct link there.
So it's not like a hard and fast rule yet.
Right. It's not a hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
What we do know, though, is that excessive screen time in general, regardless of the type of light emitted, is something to be mindful of when it comes to children's eye health.
Right.
So it's not just about like ditching the blue LEDs, it's more about managing overall screen time, which, let's face it, is a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge with adults too. I'm always on a screen.
Exactly.
But back to Swing to Sleep for a sec. They seem to be really positioning themselves as the healthy, conscious choice for parents
Yeah.
who are concerned about this stuff.
And it's a really clever marketing strategy when you think about it.
Yeah.
They're not just selling you a sling or a rocker. They're offering you peace of mind
Totally.
by highlighting the fact that their products don't have blue LEDs. They really tap into that emotional core of parenthood.
Sure.
That desire to protect your child's well-being.
Give them the best start.
Exactly. And what parent doesn't want to do that?
Right.
Now, to be fair, to Swing to Sleep, their marketing does go beyond just fear-mongering. They also emphasize other aspects of their products that promote healthy sleep habits.
Like the rocking.
The rocking motion.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They talk about how that rocking motion mimics the feeling of being held, which can help babies relax and fall asleep.
That makes sense.
And I think that's a really important point
Yeah.
because it highlights the bigger picture here.
Okay.
Blue light is just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to infant sleep. There's a whole bunch of other factors at play.
Like what else?
Well, you've got room temperature,
Mm.
feeding schedules, even a baby's individual temperament can play a role.
Babies are so different.
They are.
It's never as simple as like one thing, is it?
I wish it was. I wish there was like a simple answer, one-size-fits-all solution. But parenting and child development, they're complex.
It's the hardest job.
It is.
So for those parents out there who are probably like, oh my gosh, after listening to all of this, what would you say are the biggest takeaways?
I think for me, it's just about balance, right? Like you said, we don't have to completely, throw out all the blue light,
Mm-hmm.
but just being aware.
I guess. I think awareness is key.
Yeah.
And, it's not just about what we're exposing our kids to, but also what we're doing ourselves.
And that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
We have to be models.
Yeah. Setting a good example.
Exactly. And encouraging things like outdoor play during the day, creating healthy sleep environments for our kids. All of that can make a big difference. Yeah. I like that. It's so true, though, because if you're trying to get your kid to go to bed early and then you're up on your phone all night, it's like, well,
Exactly. You're sending mixed messages. Right?
yeah, they're gonna notice that.
They do.
So this has been really interesting for me. I feel like I learned a lot.
Me too.
I didn't realize how much just a light could impact,
Yeah.
things like sleep and possibly eyesight.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, what other things are we surrounded by every day
Yeah,
that we don't even think twice about that could have some kind of impact that we're not aware of?
that's a good point. Well, listeners, we hope that you've enjoyed this deep dive into blue light and babies and that you learned some stuff along the way.
And remember, it's always good to be curious. Keep asking questions. And never stop learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We'll catch you in the next one.